Welcome back, everyone. This is Bbeltdan, and we are back in Blender working on the Enterprise J. I did a little bit of work, not a whole lot off screen. Actually, I've been kind of busy lately working on a project with my son. He had something going on at school, and he wanted to do something with electronics and circuits and stuff, and he's not very knowledgeable about that stuff, so I kind of had to help him with that. So, um, so yeah, I've been kind of away from this, but I have been doing some work on it. Mostly what I've been working on is the front portion of the primary hall. I've had to do some adjustment on the nacelles. Still got to work on the buzzard scoops a little bit just to get those right. I've also switched out the background image. It's back to this image right here. Had to do a little bit of extra adjustments with the angle of the camera to try to get everything to line up, but as you could probably see, it is pretty darn close. I think there's a little bit of adjustments that I still need to make on the saucer section, but for the most part, I mean, it's looking pretty good. Still got to work on trying to get these nacelles to line up just right. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put that on hold. And once again, we are working on the primary hull right here, as you can go ahead and see. So started kind of fleshing out a little bit on that, and let's go ahead and take a look. Um, this is one of those parts to where when you start to look at it, you're like, okay, exactly what are the dimensions? And it's a lot of guesswork, it's a lot of lining up, but after a little bit of trial and error, everything all starts to kind of come together. I'm going to go ahead and take a guess that this part of the primary hall and this part of the primary hall, it either doesn't quite connect here, so they kind of overlap, which is what I put here, or they do connect, but it's going to be kind of a bit of an overhang. Um, I'm either thinking of either utilizing it to where it just basically overhangs. One idea that I've had throwaway back when I first started doing this was that, well, let me go ahead and start about this. Most ships in the Federation tend to have a saucer separation to where if there's a trouble, warp core goes in breach, the saucer section can separate from the primary hull. I mean, the Enterprise D notoriously had it. Even lesser known fact, even the Enterprise, the original series, and the Enterprise A actually had that feature. It just was hardly ever used. But anyways, I've always kind of envisioned that this portion right here, if this had a south separation, would kind of break loose. It would be like, blow away, detach away, and then the saucer section could just kind of drop down and then float away, leaving this portion right here alone. So I'm kind of toying around with that. But enough talking. Let's go ahead and get to work. So actually, I will be talking just a little bit, but let me go ahead and put this background image on. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and first, before try to continue to wrap this around, I'm going to go ahead and extend some of this back into here, back to where the pylons are at. So let's do that. Um, let's see. If I select those, let's go ahead and do another. Ooh, that's perfect right there. All right. And let's go ahead and move this back. Actually, another thing that I was thinking about doing, and kind of get y'all's opinion on this, is where should I put the bridge? Now, normally in standard design, the bridge would be right here, but as you can see, there is no bridge there. Have always kind of given to the thought that at this point of time, Starfleet has gotten rid of the traditional bridges. I mean, they still have them. It's just more like they're recessed. They're not exposed. So I'm either thinking to where the bridge is still here, it's just recessed, or it's in a different part of the ship, or maybe even this overhang right here, the bridge is contained over there. It's still raised, it's just a bit contained. So be interesting to see what y'all's opinion on that would probably be. So I'm going to go ahead and extend this along the y-axis. Now it looks like it kind of still widens or shortens up a little bit. Whoops. So I'm leaning more onto the fact, and I kind of put this into the previous ships that I did, where, hold up, where they were recessed. Oops, wrong one. Let me look at something here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Looks like this actually comes, either sweeps in. I'm thinking more like it sweeps in. This is what I was talking about, where it takes a little bit of guesswork here and some trial and error. Let's see if I pull that in. Ooh, yeah. But if I pull, let me, so you got to kind of go back and forth between different views to try to get this. Actually, you know what? It might, I don't know. Would that make sense? For it to come down a little bit, for it to sweep up and down, maybe. Hmm. That'd be an interesting design either way. Looks like it might do a little bit of a mixture of both. Let me see. But yeah, I'm thinking about having it to where the bridge would be recessed in. So, um, yeah. I'll tell you what, the one thing that I've been doing definitely to try to help kind of motivate me through this is I've been watching the original series on Netflix. So, if none of y'all have ever watched, not the original series, but the Next Generation, I like the original series, but the Next Generation has always been kind of a little bit dear to my heart because it was the first Star Trek series that I was watching. That's looking pretty good. Let's go and go back to the top. And catching it on Netflix has been um, has been kind of oops, kind of inspiring me a little bit, trying to keep me motivated throughout this. Ah, dagnabbit. That's what I thought. Does that go in even more? Hmm. The only thing that I don't agree with the Netflix is I'm kind of surprised that they didn't go ahead. Yeah, you know what? I think that does go down a bit because this is coming up. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. Drop that down just a little bit. Actually, with a situation like this, it'd be better, more uniformed if I just do this. Let's grab that. But anyways, I'm kind of disappointed though that they seem to be using the actual original broadcast airings of the Next Generation, and not using the remastered, or the remastered high definition. I know, like the original series on Netflix, they've actually used the remastered with some updated special effects and cleaned up post processing to make it look much brighter and better in 1080p and everything. But Next Generation doesn't seem like that's what they did. Oops. So I'm kind of surprised with that. I really don't know. I'm not going to say I'm really disappointed, but I wish they would have probably done that. I mean, I know that they've done the remastered. I've seen screenshots of comparing of the remastered of Next Generation and the original airing of the Next Generation, and yeah, that one's kind of hiding in there a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and say it's right Actually, let's bring this back a little bit. So, but yeah, it would be kind of nice if, especially it look better on my screen, if they actually did use the remastered version of the next generation. But oh well, got to settle with the original, and I don't really have a problem with it, and I don't think there's really a whole lot that they can do as far as trying to improve the graphics and some of the special effects like they did in the in the remaster original series. It's just maybe if they can make it look a little bit better on my 1080p screen. I think that's about as close as we're going to get. I might have to do some shaping around there. Let's take a look at it without the image. Ooh, hmm, yeah. Let's try this. Now that we got it all the way out there, let's try bringing that in just a little bit. Let me try moving that edge slide to right about. Looks like there might be an end of the edge slide right there. Hmm. Hmm. Not quite lining up over there. I see this is going to take a little bit of work. Going back and forth, back and forth. Something I'm sure a lot of y'all don't really want to see me do. But that's where the trial and error comes into play. Okay, it's starting to get there a little bit. Yeah. Now let me bring this opacity up here. Actually, yeah, it looks like that it comes down. Might be a little bit extra detail right there. Actually, that looks straight. Then it looks like it comes up and it does these little wing things. Right about there. So let me go ahead and make sure I got everything cleared. And there we go. Let's bring these in. Flatten that out a little bit. And bring it back just a little bit more. And there. And from right there, we're going to go ahead and we'll start up with these little, I don't know, wings or something. Kind of reminiscent of like some of those old style automobiles where you see they have those little, you know, shark fin wing tips at the very back of the tail lights and everything. I wonder if that's kind of what they were kind of going for, trying to get kind of a futuristic retro look or something. I know with this ship was actually supposed to be loosely based between a cross of the Enterprise from the Star Trek Enterprise and the Enterprise D. Why the Enterprise D and not the Enterprise E? I don't know, but Enterprise D's. But even though it's a crossbreed between those two, people have pointed out similarities between it and some like old World War II fighter jets. Mostly the P-87. I could be wrong on that. But it was a ship where there was like two pylons and the cockpit was in between the two pylons and there were like several similarities and everything to it. So I wonder if maybe if they got that, but because I've never seen that type of design in Federation. Build before, but I don't know, maybe at this time in the future, they have more species, you know, into it. There might be more than just alien or human species that are designing their ships, and this might be a little bit of alien influenced. You never know. Obviously, the design is definitely different from what anything that we've ever seen. I'm going to work on those a little bit off screen. Since we got that kind of pointed out a little bit, let's take a look at it close again. This isn't going to be the final shape. I'm just kind of toying around with it. In fact, I don't really like about how this is all down below the saucer section. So, I mean, there's going to have to be some repair on the saucer section here, but yeah. But anyways, let's go ahead and, oh yeah, and I need to fix that. I don't know why I did. I joined this mesh to this mesh. I think I did it without realizing that these vertices were on this side and these vertices on this side. So it's going to be kind of difficult for me to try to combine those. So I might end up separating those again, and we'll see what happens. But let's go ahead and kind of fix this, because yeah, this isn't going all the way to the edge. Let's go back to, yeah, it's not going all the way to the edge on that side. It's going to the edge there, but not there. So let's see what we can do. Once again, going back to where it's trial and error and everything. Because if I take this, see, pay attention over here. If I take this and move that out, it lines up over there, but no longer lines up over there. So what I have to do is a fine balance between moving it over or up and down. Whoops. Oh, what did I just do? I might have messed up something there. But yeah, so I can either grab it, and if I move it up, then it adds up. But it gets distorted over here. It doesn't quite add up, because right there's the edge that I'm trying to mirror. If I move it out, so I'm going to have to do kind of a mixture of both. If I go there, whoops, then that would kind of lead to the credence that this thing doesn't swoop down, but it comes straight out, which I don't want to know if I want it coming straight out too much. That might work right there. Maybe have it to where it goes straight out to here, then it starts to swoop down. Okay, tell you what, I'm going to work on that. All these little, you know, nitpicking things I'm going to do off screen, because it takes usually a long time for me to adjust. But just to kind of show you how you do this, if you're trying to do this yourself on any other kind of model, is you can get everything to line up either by moving. You got to try on all axes, because I mean, to get the perspective, I mean, you could trick the perspective that way by moving it one axis, and you can trick it moving a different axis. But you have to find the balance between moving along the two axes where you get the ultimate result of what you're wanting. So this, I want to actually move in right there. There we go. All right. And yeah. And let's go ahead and let me see. Tell you what, let's do this real quick. Let's go to this part of the primary hull. We got these little details here. So let's go ahead and add those in. They look like they're, even though that the actual picture looks like that it might be just painted on and not actual detailed texture of the mesh, I'm going to go ahead and throw those in there. So let's do an XR. See, that's another reason about why I want to do it this way, because if you can see now, this shows me that it does that the lines aren't quite added up. Interesting. See that? It's supposed to swoop down. So I can tell that this edge is supposed to start swooping down a lot sooner. Interesting indeed. So where's... Wow. Really? Hmm. Oops. Wow, I'm way off of this. See, that's supposed to be along the center line. How did this stop getting on the center line? It's on the center line there. Somehow I got off on the center line around in this area. It's along the center line there, or pretty close to it. Well, it looks like it's another bit of adjusting that I'm going to have to do. So, once again, I might have to do that a little bit off camera. Let me see. Wow. I have no idea that I was that far off. See, that's another reason, once again, why I want to put those type of details in there, because that line right there that I just added in will tell me that I'm not added in, or I'm not quite lined up on that line there. So, yeah, to even get close to that. Wow. Hmm. Okay, well, darn it. All right, excuse me for a minute. Okay, sorry about that. I had to check up on the time to see how much time I'm recording. I'm going to try to do the best I can to try to keep these down to about 15 to 20 minutes at a time. So I'm going to do a lot more work off screen and then jump in every now and then to do some recording, about 15 to 20-minute recordings, just to show you what I've done and do a little bit of work on the screen. Mainly areas where I'm like, okay, guys, I need y'all's opinion, or what is your ideas, or hey, I'm trying to fix this. Do y'all know of any way to fix that? So yeah, we're going to go ahead and cut the episode right there. And so this is it. Said, feel free to leave any kind of comments that you might have, suggestions, comments, or anything like that. As far as suggestions are concerned, please don't, some people have told me, on some forums that I've posted on, that I need to just abandon this idea completely and go with my own idea. Please don't put the comments like that, because I mean, I want to try to build it exactly the way that it looks. Now, once again, towards the underside, I'm going to be having to put in my own spin, my own ideas on it, because we don't have much on the underside that I deem canon. But as far as ideas of what you think of the, technology wise, like, what do you think that these little blue lights here are for? What do you think this right here is for? Where's the bridge at? What's this right here? Stuff like that. Feel free to leave comments if you have any suggestions on, what I need to do with the model to make it look more, closer to the, you know, to what it's supposed to look like. Feel free to do that as well. So give me your ideas, opinions, comments, or critiques. I'm always looking forward to it. So that's once again, this is Bbeltdan, and thank you very much.